Good morning. I do, you guys, and I've got a weather summary from Friday. We had a very active weather day in Ontario and a couple different tornadoes. So we can take a look at some of the video. This is 8 kilometers an hour. So what does that mean on the ground? Well, we have a summary of some of the damage. First as a tornado, 1 kilometer on land, then became a waterspout as it moved over water, and it traveled for another 3 kilometers. The second tornado was an EF2 with that were damaged. Huntsville, by the way, is about 230 kilometers northeast of Toronto, if you're not familiar with the region. Now, today we'll also be talking possibly some severe weather in northeastern Ontario as we see this cold front move its way southeastward. We're also seeing this morning some showers through northwestern Ontario, some heavier pockets of rain just northwest of Thunder Bay this morning, and then a few more showers as we're heading into the northeast. So how does this progress? By the time we head into mid-afternoon, this is local time, just 2:45, and you can see those storms forming north of North Bay. They'll then track their way in towards Quebec and then slowly fizzle into the overnight hours. This morning, that's not the only place where we are seeing some active weather. We also have widespread rain pushing through the Maritimes, and this will be the story through the day today in New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia, and then heading up towards Newfoundland as we head in towards Wednesday. And it's part of a very large cold front that extends all the way south through the United States. As we head into this afternoon, the heaviest rain will likely be along the south coast of Nova Scotia, with more showery activity in towards New Brunswick. The eastern side of Prince Edward Island gets it a little bit worse than the west. And then you see that rain move its way up towards Newfoundland as we head into the wee hours of tomorrow morning, departing by mid-afternoon on Wednesday and then leaving behind sunshine. So in terms of those rainfall totals, you can see it's definitely more amplified down towards Shelburne, upwards of 35 millimeters, up towards Newfoundland. Burgeo gets some of the worst of it, close to about 25 millimeters, Grand Bank 31. That's a look at Eastern Canada. Coming up, we have details on the heat in the west. Now here's your local forecast. Hey, this morning we'll start with our satellite picture right across the country, and you can see once again we're talking about active weather on the eastern side of North America. We also have some rain pushing through northern Ontario that's going to give a risk of possibly severe thunderstorms in northeastern Ontario later on today, and we've got lingering storms in the prairie provinces through Alberta and Saskatchewan with a few showers in southern Manitoba. Where is it not raining? British Columbia. We'll address that a little bit later on in the program. This morning, though, for the east, we've got rain falling through the maritime provinces. Scattered showers, but St. John does have rain reported as its current condition. Less so as we're heading down towards Nova Scotia. A lot of this is being reported as mist or cloud this morning, but temperatures are still in the double digits. Wherever you are in Atlantic Canada, be prepared for rain through the day today and even into Wednesday up towards Newfoundland and Labrador. That rain moves in late tonight for Newfoundland and Labrador, and you can see it definitely has an impact on the highs today. Where it's raining, it's going to be cooler. Where it's drier, it's getting a touch warmer into the low 20s. But like I said, Wednesday becomes quite a rainy day up towards Newfoundland and Labrador. Today, that front will follow it, push its way up towards generally mostly Nova Scotia, but we are seeing the eastern side of New Brunswick and then Prince Edward Island as well. The heaviest rain will push up towards Cape Breton as we head in towards this evening, and then you see that entrance of the rain in towards Newfoundland by tonight, just after the supper hour local time. Heaviest rain will likely be overnight tonight in Newfoundland and then departing the island as we head into midday by Wednesday, leaving sunshine in behind. So that is some good news. The one blip will be that New Brunswick could see a few thunderstorms developing Wednesday evening. Otherwise, fairly dry ahead after today. So in terms of rainfall totals, you can see much less in New Brunswick, much more in Nova Scotia, kind of mid-range for Prince Edward Island, up towards Newfoundland. Yeah, 26 millimeters in St. John. It's a fairly rainy day ahead or overnight ahead. The next spot where we see rain is northern Ontario. This cold front moving through is going to give us enough lift for thunderstorms. So we need three things for thunderstorms. We've talked about this before. You need heat, you need moisture, and you need lift, either from convection, daytime heating, or from a front moving through. And that's the case that we see for today. So you notice Sudbury, you do have thunderstorms in the forecast. Thunder Bay, you as well. South of that, we are seeing a very sunny forecast. In fact, seasonal, if not slightly below temperatures, but a nice improvement from the weekend forecast for Ontario. It was a very cool and rainy weekend. And then Quebec, we're tapping into some of that same heat. 23 today in Montreal, 21 in Sherbrooke. We'll talk a little bit more about Tropical Storm Franklin as we head into the latter part of our program, but you can see that hurricane season is well underway, and obviously will continue right up until the end of November, but we'll address that a little bit later on. Well, we'll take a sunnier turn from where the dark place we just went with that. This morning, we have plenty plenty of sunshine in your national forecast. We do have some intense pockets of rain this morning, though, over the maritime provinces, some thunderstorms to talk about as well, and chilly temperatures depending on where you're waking up. All of our major cities across the country reporting in double digits this morning, save for Iqaluit, but there are pockets of very cold air in southern Ontario. Some places have been in single digits this morning. To give you perspective, the average low in southern Ontario this time of morning is closer to about 15. So when we're getting Guelph reporting 7, you know it's cold. Part of the reason why it is unsettled in the east has to do with this upper trough that we talked about all last week. It's still lingering as we head into today, and we are seeing that ridge in the west. And so that means hot for the west and then more unsettled for the east. And that's for sure the case this morning. There's the rain in the Atlantic provinces. We zoom in and you can see some heavier pockets just about to creep in towards New Brunswick this morning. Plenty of communities in Nova Scotia reporting rain this morning as well as western Prince Edward Island. Newfoundland, you'll get the rain later on tonight. So it was rainy yesterday. Got sunshine to start you off, but know that rain is coming and will last for tomorrow morning as well. Look at the Atlantic highs for today. It is cool, definitely where it's raining. And you can see that rain pushing its way through generally through the day in the Atlantic provinces, finally departing midday on Wednesday, leading to more sunshine as we head into the back end of tomorrow. In terms of rainfall totals, it's definitely more amplified down towards southern Nova Scotia, but even Newfoundland, we're getting into some pretty decent totals. And again, most of that comes overnight tonight. Quebec today, generally it's pretty sunny, save for some of the eastern townships. We're getting into that rain. For Ontario, we've got cooler conditions in southern Ontario. Cooler just meaning slightly below seasonal, but warmer than the weekend. Further north, that's when we're getting into unsettled weather through northeastern Ontario. And you can see already we've got that activity across the north. Now for the west, we are under the influence of high pressure, and that is playing into a very warm forecast. In terms of the daytime highs across the prairies, we'll fly through these real fast. We're seeing non-severe thunderstorms for Saskatoon and Regina. For BC, that heat continues today, and unfortunately we do have that continued air quality advisory right across the region. It's been expanded to include all of Vancouver Island as well. Very smoky sky continues again today. Canada, that's a look across the country. Now I'll send it over to Ben. Incredibly ferocious. In fact, 1 foot of fast-moving water is or can be strong enough to pick up an entire vehicle, like a car. So you never want to encounter flooding if you can avoid it. If you can stay out of the area, that's what you want to do. We're talking potential flooding with Tropical Storm Franklin taking you all the way down towards Mexico. There's the storm right there. It is going to push its way into the water as we head through the day today and then move its way back on shore. And so obviously we're talking storm surge. Water levels will be about a foot higher than normal, but rainfall could be significant. Parts of the Yucatan Peninsula could see up to about 12 inches of rain. So that's over 300 millimeters, just to give you perspective. Generally 3 to 6 inches otherwise. So anywhere between about 75 and 150 millimeters elsewhere. Here at home, we've got rain this morning in portions of Atlantic Canada, sunshine through Quebec, northern Ontario dealing with rain, and then we've got some thunderstorms brewing just west of Saskatoon this morning. But we'll start with the rain in Atlantic Canada. So Yarmouth, St. John, both reporting rain at this hour. This will continue largely through Nova Scotia through the day today, but pockets of New Brunswick, particularly the southeast, will see that rain continue. Areas further north, likely drier conditions. That rain moves in overnight tonight and towards Newfoundland and continues tomorrow morning. Sun through Quebec and southern Ontario, but further north, we've got this cold front sliding through, and that's going to bring the risk of some non-severe and potentially isolated severe thunderstorms in northeastern Ontario as we head into this afternoon. But even into Thunder Bay, I wouldn't rule out a thunderstorm in your forecast as well. The west generally dominated by that ridge of high pressure, particularly over BC, and that's going to slide its way eastward as the week progresses. We see scorching temperatures through Alberta and Saskatchewan as the week progresses. This morning, though, in the prairies, we've got a few showers through Brandon, Manitoba, for example, and then this thunderstorm activity in Saskatchewan. This is just echoing some of the active weather that happened yesterday. We've got a summary of most popular animal in the world. I'm in. I love them.
There's a tornado beside you.
There is. It's a little distracting to my love of cats. I want to take you to Friday, though, because we did have severe weather in Ontario, in Huntsville, Ontario. So to give you of Huntsville, and winds were estimated to be 190 clicks an hour. Damage is obviously issued, or the ratings are issued after the tornado happens, when damage can finally be assessed. So that's why we're getting the details now. This morning, Atlantic Canada dealing with some rain into the Maritimes for today. That'll move in towards New Newfoundland tonight, and then overnight we get some heavy pockets of rain as well. But today generally is sunny in Newfoundland. It's just tonight when it gets pretty rainy. So be prepped for that rainfall. Know that if you have sun, you should enjoy it, particularly the northern section of New Brunswick and then again Newfoundland, Labrador. We're also seeing that sun persist through Quebec and southern Ontario, but further north it's a different story with this low over Hudson Bay, and you can see the cold front swooping beautifully through the province, beautifully on satellite imagery, not so beautiful on the ground if you're dealing with some storms this morning. So rain possible in Thunder Bay, also into the northeast. That's where we could see some possibly severe thunderstorms. The west under the influence of high pressure, that was our upper air pattern, so it means it's hot in BC, but a little more unsettled across the prairies this morning with thunderstorms just circulating steadily west of Saskatoon, so dropping a whole lot of rain this morning with lots of thunder and lightning. We're also seeing widespread air quality advisories in British Columbia due to the fact that the smoke is still present from those fires, and there's no foreseeable precipitation for the next several days. In fact, Vancouver, the last significant rainfall was June 15th. So that was nearly 8 weeks ago. Canada.
Tell us.
Oh, no, we're never going to know. We're never going to know.
Oh, we'll know.
Yes.
When there are not two heads that you see
Yes.
when you're walking down to get onto the plane.
And flying us to Orlando this morning are a Dell and a Lenovo.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's just not a good thing. 2025, not too far away. No. All right, let's talk about some of
Your national forecast this morning with a look at your current temperatures. We're warming up. Slowly across the country. It's taken some time, though. A lot of communities, particularly in southern Ontario, northern Manitoba, Thompson, you've been sitting at 2 through the morning. Northern BC in single digits. So if you have double-digit temperatures to start us off, just share some of that warmth. Spread it around. Sharing is caring this morning. We've got unsettled weather in eastern Canada, thanks in part to this upper trough. This is our upper air pattern, so it's high up in the atmosphere, 200 millibars, about 30 to 40,000 feet up, so where the airplanes are flying, hopefully with pilots. And we've got this upper trough that's not only giving us some unsettled weather, but also at the surface, that's meaning rain for Atlantic Canada. Now, it's in the maritime provinces today, but it is going to move its way up towards Newfoundland tonight. So get your rain gear handy, whatever your fancy, poncho, boots, whatever it is. We're generally seeing the heaviest rain in southern New Brunswick and then southern Nova Scotia as well. But the heaviest pockets will move up towards Cape Breton as the day progresses. And then, like I said, tonight in towards Newfoundland. In behind that, Quebec, enjoy the sunshine today. Some of the eastern townships could tap into some of that rain. We've seen that this morning. Southern Ontario, super sunny. Northern Ontario, we've got more rain. We've got a cold front moving through, and that's giving us a risk of thunderstorm in towards the northeast. Speaking of thunderstorms, we've got this little guy right west of Saskatoon that's not going anywhere. But this area of precipitation is spreading rain right along the Trans-Canada into Manitoba as well. Then the west, BC, you are under the influence of high pressure once again. We've got an omega blocking pattern, and this is going to hold steady for the next week. So it is going to continue to be hot and sunny, plus air quality significantly reduced right across most of British Columbia today because of the fires. That's a look across the country this morning. Now here's your local forecast.